What's up everyone, Dean G. Rizzo here with Tag and Brag, and today I just want to show you a really cool and crucially important feature that Victory Archery puts on all of their arrows. It's called the spine line, and it's just a little printed indicator on your arrow shaft that shows you where the spine of your arrow is. So since carbon arrows are just essentially a roll of carbon, where that roll of carbon stops or finishes is technically the strongest or thickest part of your arrow. That spot is the spine of your arrow. And it's important to know where that is. So why is it important to know where the spine of your arrow is? Every time you release an arrow from your bow, your arrow flexes. Well, it flexes relative to where that strongest point or the spine of your arrow is. You want to know where that is so you can place your fletchings or your cock vane on that spine so you know where it is every time you nock an arrow. In order to get consistent arrow flight out of all your arrows, your spine needs to be in the same spot on your bow every single time. Well, because an arrow flexes relative to the spine, you want your arrow to flex the same time every time you release an arrow. If one arrow is flexing to the side because your spine might be on the side, and then the next arrow you shoot might flex up because your spine is on the top, you're gonna probably get inconsistent arrow flight. The reason you'll get inconsistency is just because the arrow is trying to correct itself or straighten itself out during the flight. Well, if it flexes differently, it's gonna correct itself differently. You might notice this when you're practicing. If you shoot 3 to 4 arrows at a time, maybe you have one arrow that just doesn't fly good every single time. It might be because your spine is not aligned like the other 3. So what we do is we place all of our cock vanes or off-colored vanes on the spine. That way when you put your nock on, you can put it perpendicular to that off-colored vane. So when you nock your arrow, every single time, your spine and that off-colored vane is facing directly up. It is not easy to find a spine on an arrow, and Victory is the only company that indicates this on the arrow shaft, and I cannot tell you how crucially important it is to get consistent arrow flight with every single arrow. The simplest way to find your spine, just go buy yourself a dozen Victory arrows. They put it right on the shaft for you, and you'll get consistent arrow flight every single time because you're going to have that off-colored vane in the correct spot.